All right. Hi there, everybody. I'm Mary Kravitz, and I am going live today because I'm doing something super cool next week. I've got Melissa Henry here with Brandtography with me, and she's going to introduce herself. But what was awesome is like earlier this year, you know that I said, you know what, that's it. I am committing to the niche of coaches. I believe in what you're doing in the world. I believe in helping the industry in an area that they don't usually love, which is the business building. And how do we counteract some of the less savory influences that are in our industry? I mean, let's be honest, there's some stuff out there that's really icky and gross. And it can really turn off, especially coaches, people with integrity, people with heart, can really turn them off to the industry. So we're here trying to redeem our industry, or at least give you a more savory option, I guess.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
right as I made this decision, here's Melissa starting this fantastic show that she's doing on a consistent basis. And so I want to introduce her to you. She's a resource you want to have, trust me, and also help you decide whether, and of course I have an opinion about this, but whether or not you should attend the show that's happening on Monday, where we're going to really be diving deep into your client attraction. So Melissa, why don't you introduce yourself and why you started this?
Thank you, Mary. So, I'm Melissa Henry, and I am the founder of Personal Brandtography. And what I do is I help coaches and consultants get more clarity when it comes to their brand strategy and also understand how to actually express that brand once they have that clarity. So, I started this show because I've been in business I just finished my fifth year of business, and I've made a whole lot of mistakes along the way, which I know we all do. But I really wish that someone had come along a lot earlier in my journey and said, you know what? Stop the freaking squirrel chasing and let's really get focused about what's really going to grow your business. And what I realized too was that there's lanes that like things that we need to have in place. One of those is that empire building strategy, which starts with the brand and continues with the marketing and the business development, right? But understanding that initial foundation is the important part to actually make those other two things work. So that's one thing, and that's the lane that you're coming in to talk about on the show, which is gonna be really
Mhm.
cool. And we're gonna tell the title in just a minute. But then the other lanes are, self care. Like what? Geez, like I wish somebody would have told me that early on that, you're not going to get anywhere if you continue to put your nose to the grindstone forever. You need the breaks, you need to do these other things. And the mindset, of course, another huge one, and
Mhm.
brand, which we sort of started this whole conversation with. So that's who I am, what I'm doing in a nutshell, and why we're doing the show. It's very important for me because I really see this having a big impact for anyone coming on who's doesn't feel like they have their what together yet. Like
Mhm.
there's missing pieces, and they're like struggling to figure out who's the right person to listen to. Just as you said at the beginning, there's a lot of stuff out there that we maybe shouldn't be paying too much attention to.
Yeah, and I would say that there are probably fewer bad influences as there are just distractions as far as
Yes.
like how do you focus? And that's what I think you and I have in common. And I know that's going to be a real strong theme in what we talk about on Monday is that idea of focus. It isn't about doing all the things. It is about doing the right things, executing them completely, and then the self-care is stopping. And when you know exactly what to do, you don't have to do a ton because it's so intentional. It's like I know there's a metaphor about going at after something like laser focus or going at it just scattershot, and that's
Yep.
really what I look at. How can you do so? Like what I teach and what I'm going to share on Monday, it was all based on the fact that I burned out,
Hmm.
and I had to find a way to work where I got a lot more results from the efforts I put in. And what I originally called my approach was the minimum marketing plan.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
what is the like I had 4 hours of energy a week. And so how
Hmm.
did I just get the absolute most out of it? And what's kind of awesome, silver lining from the story a decade later is that I was able to systemize everything in the business. So, and everything to do with client generation. And then I teach it so that coaches can spend more time on the stuff they love and less time on the stuff that they maybe have a little resistance to.
Yes. Yes. There are those things. You know what I like about what you said too is just the sticking with the program. And I
Mhm.
think that like I'm excited to hear that part because that is literally one of my biggest problems that I've had over the course of the past 5 years. And that is, picking that lane and then sticking with it. And I
Mhm.
think when like there's like all of those lanes actually are wrapped up in that one idea. It is picking the lane strategically. It
Yes.
is sticking with it because it's in alignment with your brand. It's the sticking with it because you have the right mindset, knowing that what the actions you're taking are actually going to work,
Yes.
and then not overwhelming yourself, which is the self-care side of it too. So I think it's just like kind of a perfect package for what we're going to talk about.
Yes, absolutely. And I heard like in the margins of that is the hazards of reinvention, like that constant reinvention, constant. This is what I see coaches do. They're like, oh, this isn't working, so I'm going to invent something new. Instead of going down to the strategy, they go out to,
Mhm.
I must have the wrong program, because if I come up with the right program or I get the right certification or I become a better coach, that's what will attract more clients. And there is a very um, reasonable reason for people to think that way. And that's because in
Yeah.
corporate, that's generally the truth. In academia, that's how you advance. At home, even if you're going from the managing a home to doing coaching, I mean, it's all about not, if you want to advance, then you just get some more knowledge, you get some more skills. And this client attraction is not like that. I can't tell you how many coaches I've talked to that are like, you know what, I just keep thinking if I just become a better coach, that's the key to getting clients. I wouldn't have to work. So
Oh,
there's like this disconnect, and it makes me want to cry. I just talked to someone this week and they're like, I have this idea that if I was just a better coach,
mm,
that's what's going to get the clients. And I I am a teacher by nature. And so in our conversation on Monday, we're going to do I'm going to have some exercises and have people like do some work, do some
oh,
brainstorming, do some
good.
thinking. Yes,
Yes.
because I don't believe in just chattering and like having a nice chat, because if I want to do that, I'd just call you on the phone, we'd hang out. But I want
Right.
people to like hear something, do something, take something out of it so that they
Hmm.
will actually have insights into where to best put their energy, and that it doesn't have to be painful. And the thing
Mm,
I'm bringing forward for coaches is coaches like I am, like you are. I mean, I'm here to make an impact. If that's one of my core values, and if I'm not making a difference, then I'm not even showing up. It's like I'm not even going to do anything if I'm not making a difference. It just doesn't even hit
yeah.
my radar. And that's true for
Hmm.
coaches. And they feel like it's isolated to their coaching conversations. Like that's where I make an impact. And what I want to expand thinking around is that the business part of it, the sales part of it, the marketing part of it, if you really want to make an impact, then committing to those places of discomfort and where you have to build skills and learn, that is a part of your impact making. It is not contrary to your impact making. And
Yeah.
that's where it gets powerful and exciting.
Yeah, you gotta think of this holistically, not in like little component pieces here and there that aren't
Mhm.
related. It absolutely
Yeah,
is related. And
yeah.
not only that, like I find with my own coaching, I find that um I'll be in the midst of helping someone with their brand, and then they have a question for me that may not really be specific to what we're talking about, but
Mhm.
because I've leaned into all of the aspects of running the business and trying to make that a holistic thing, I'll be able to help them with that part
Yeah.
because it naturally comes, you know what I mean? And so it's not like because none of us are like, that's just not how human beings are. We're like very
No.
like interconnected. So So I like that. I like that a lot. I wanted to say we should drop the registration link in there. I have the short version of that. I'm putting in the private chat, but I don't think I have any control about
Okay,
how to
I'll
put
see
it
if I
up
can.
anywhere.
I'll see if I can do that. Okay, yeah, there's the private chat. Yeah, I think at this point people probably have a sense of, whether they want to hang out with this. Here is the link. I just put it in, hopefully some of the chats on some of the channels. But just to know
Yeah.
like what you're going to get when you show up. Like I said before, you're going to get actionable takeaways. I am a teacher by nature. I want you to walk away. I am not a coach, by the way. My clients often say, Mary, you will tell me what to do, right? You're not one of the pure coaches. I was like, no, I will show you what to do. I will tell you what to do. I will give direction. And one of the things that I believe in is that yes, the interior world has to be addressed. And when you do this, your outside world changes. But I don't believe that's the only path to transformation. My approach is an outside in transformation. And so I know that when you have a plan that is boiled all the way down to specific steps that are in alignment with your values, in alignment with your vision, and we get so specific about them and so clear about them that you just take those steps without really thinking about it, or confidence or not having confidence, it just doesn't have as much influence on whether you progress forward. You just start taking those tiny steps, and before you know it, you're starting to get results. And so that's my approach is an outside in transformation, because eventually you start believing because you start seeing the results. And that's what I want to get you to on Monday is I want to be giving you some of those tiny steps you can start taking, so that whether you're confident or not, or whether you do affirmations or not, it's just not going to be that. It's not going to be that important. You're just going to start getting results, and then the confidence will come afterwards.
Oh my God, that's so different from what most people will do, most approaches. So I love that. And what I love about that too is that when you're taking those little steps and you're seeing those results, just like you say, it's like they always say, you don't get confident before you do the action. You get confidence from the action you take and seeing the results of those actions. So I can totally see that working for people. So that's amazing.
Yes.
We didn't get a
And
chance to talk about that the first time, so I
yeah,
love
I
that.
know. And I think one of the keys is not making the steps so huge and impossible, those actions. You make them accessible. Because sometimes when we're listening to the Tony Robbins, the world, and the drink from the fire hose and leap and the net will appear approach, it is too big of a step. As human beings, we have like a 25%, like we can grow at 25% at a time, very easily, very naturally. And when we start saying, okay, I want to double, triple, at certain times in our lives, that's just not realistic, and it will hold you back from actually achieving something. Saying this small step is not good enough will hold you back, when if you could just make those small steps, then before you know it, the time it takes you to get the confidence to make the big step, you're looking back on that step because you've taken all the small steps.
Yes. And I've experienced this like
Yes.
numerous times where someone's just, in fact, I'm it's kind of like right now thinking about it, like, because I'm creating a master class coming up, and it's kind of like one of those things where I'm like, ooh, there's a lot of steps here. And if I'm gonna like make myself do it quickly, that feels like a lot. So, I mean, I'm used to like now kind of just really throwing myself into the fire, but I'm actually really interested in seeing how you're going to approach these things. So
Yes.
it's so
Well,
good.
we're gonna have fun on Monday. We're gonna do some work on Monday. And I think, okay, so the most exciting thing, I saved it for the end, is that like when I go through these systems completely, we'll go through good chunks of it on Monday. But when you get the system, when you get your strategy, your foundational client generation strategy in place, what happens over time is you get to hand it off, but to someone else, so someone else is doing it. But until you have the foundational strategy, the foundational system, people are like, oh, I'll just hire someone. It's like, if you don't know what you're about, it's going to be garbage in, garbage out. But it's very exciting when you take the time to get that plan in place, you get that foundation in place, and then you start handing it off. So that, because then you're handing off the right things and you've got the system moving and you can do even more of what you love and hand off the stuff you don't. So
I love it. And I will tell you that's I've had that experience too.
that's the way it goes. The way it works.
Yes. So good.
Awesome.
So good. Well, I'm excited. I hope
Me
everyone
too.
here is excited. We want to see you in the Zoom room with us, because that's where you get to have questions answered, because you're going to be able to interact with both of us, with each other. You're going to be able to meet each other, like set up virtual coffees afterwards when you find someone you really want to talk more to. So that's a place to be. I'm not sure if that link went out to the world or not, but either way, we'll put it
You know
into
what?
the, I think
Actually,
it was
you know
in the
what?
private chat.
Yes, I think you're right. So let me, I just put it, I think it just went out. It went out at least on YouTube. It went out.
Okay, cool.
I don't know. That's all it says on StreamYard here. So
on my side, it came through. It says like private chat. So it's like, I think private chat might not be the place where everyone can see it. There's 2 comments. That's from you.
That's me.
I see it on the comment side. Yeah. So maybe it's there. We'll see.
All right. Well, Melissa,
All
right. I'll be thinking of all the good things for Monday. And I know we'll have some people in there doing some great questions and answers and networking and all the great things that happen when you bring good people together. So
yes, excited. We'll see you. Bye everyone. See you.